maximize your convergence, minimize your divergence. Now, in the particular cases that you mentioned, I think the two relations are very different, China and our relations with China, our relations with Pakistan. With China, it's a complex relationship, but I would argue that in many ways it's a relationship with a great future. China is today among our top two trading partners, depending on how you kind of calculate the numbers. We deal with China in a whole range of issues. China is our partner with you in BRICS, in SEO. We discuss pretty much everything under the sun with China. We have an annual summit with informal summit at the leadership level. So, and I think there is certainly on our part, there is an understanding that it's important for India and China to get along if we are to realize the promise of the Asian century. We have issues of differences also with China, including a boundary dispute. We don't hide it. Our effort is to sit down and solve it. But the problem with Pakistan is very different, because I would say today, if you look at international relations, I cannot think of any other country in the world which actually uses terrorism as a diplomatic tool against its neighbor. So it's actually a very unique phenomenon. We have struggled to have normal trade. They wouldn't give us MFN status, although they were members of WTO and GATT. They wouldn't allow connectivity from India to Afghanistan, Afghanistan to India. So if you have a neighbor who would not trade with you normally, who will not allow you connectivity, who thinks that using terrorism as a means of pressurizing you is okay as a policy, this is not a normal neighbor. So I think we have some unique problems out there. We will find ways of dealing with it. I mean, it is obviously there are complicated political and historical reasons for it. But we believe that the best way of dealing with it eventually is for the two countries to find some way of coming to terms with each other. So, but none of this invalidates the larger proposition that I am making, which is that the world is changing, that there are more players, that players have to find new ways of working with each other. Players should not have limited definition of a particular arena or a particular zone of operation. It is a globalized world, and I think international relations needs to move along with the reality of the day.
Can you imagine in the more or less foreseeable future